Hello, my name is Ngọc. Nice to meet you.
My name is Sung. Nice to meet you too.
How are you today?
I'm very well. What about you?
I'm great. What you do?
I'm first year student. What about you?
I'm a student. How old are you?
I'm 18. What about you?
I'm 19 years old. Where do you come from?
I come from Thái Bình province. And you?
I come from Tuyên Quang province. Have you got your boyfriend?
No, I haven't got a boyfriend. And you? Have you got a boyfriend?
No, I haven't. I haven't got your boyfriend too. How many siblings have you got?
I've got no siblings. And you?
I've got no siblings too. Have you got? How long have you been here?
I've been here for about 1 year. What about you?
I've been here for 1 year too. Who do you usually go home with?
I usually go home alone. And you?
I usually go home alone too. How often do you visit your family?
I visit my family once a week. What about you?
I usually go. I visit my family once a week. What time do you usually go home?
I usually go home at 10 a.m. What about you?
I usually at 11 p.m. When do you usually go home?
I usually go home in the morning. What about you?
I usually go home at night. What do you usually do after going back home?
After going back home, I usually have lunch. What about you?
After going back home, I usually go to bed.
When do you
usually go back to your hometown?
I usually go back to the hometown on holidays. And you?
I usually go back to my hometown at the weekend. How do you usually go back to your hometown?
I usually go back to my hometown by coach.
Why don't you go by bus?
Because the bus doesn't got to my house. My house.
Why don't you go by train?
Because the train doesn't go by house.
Why don't you go by motorbike?
Because I haven't got a motorbike. How don't you? How do you usually go back to your hometown?
I usually go back to my hometown by coach.
Why don't you go by bus?
Because it's too far from here to my hometown.
Why don't you go by car?
Because it's too expensive for me.
Why don't you go by taxi?
Because it's too expensive for me. How far is it from here to your hometown?
It's about 90 kilometers. And you?
It's about 200 kilometers. How long does it take you to go back to your hometown?
It takes me about 2 hours. What about you?
It takes me about 5 hours. How much does it cost you to go back to the hometown?
It costs me about $90,000. What about you?
It costs me about $200,000. How long do you usually stay at home for?
I usually stay at home for about 2 days. What about you?
I usually stay at home for about 2 days too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a nice day.
Hi. My name is Julian. What is your name?
My name is
Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm great. What about you?
I'm doing good. And what do you do?
I'm a student. What about you?
I am a doctor. And how old are you?
I'm 19 years old. And you?
I am 24 years old. And do you have a boyfriend?
No, haven't. Haven't got your boyfriend. And you? Have you got your girlfriend?
I have a girlfriend. And how many siblings do you have?
I've got no siblings. And you? Have you got? How many siblings have you got?
I got one brother. And where do you come from?
I come from Tuyên province. What about you? Where do you come from?
I come from the USA. And how long have you been here?
I've been here for about 1 year. And you? How long have you been here?
I've been here for 1 week. And how often do you visit your family?
I visit my family once a week. And you? How often do you visit your family?
One time in 10 years. And who do you usually go home with?
I usually go home alone. What about you? Who do you usually go home with?
I usually go home with strangers. And when do you usually go to your hometown?
I usually go home at 11 p.m. And you? When do you usually go home?
I usually go home on Christmas. And how do you usually go to your hometown?
I usually go home by coach.
By coach? And why don't you take a car?
Because it's more expensive for me.
So why don't you take a motorbike?
Because it's too dangerous for me. And you? Who do you usually go back to hometown? How usually go back to your hometown?
I usually walk to my hometown. No, I take the airplane to my hometown. And what time do you usually go to your hometown?
I usually
Oh, you said that already, huh? You said 11 p.m. Oh yeah. Right, 11 p.m. you go to your hometown?
I usually go home at 11 p.m.
Yeah. So what do you usually do after you get back to your home? What do you usually do after you get back to your hometown?
After going back home, I usually go to bed.
Go to bed.
And you? Who do you usually go? What do you usually do after going back home?
After I go back home, I like to eat a lot of food. And then I like to dance around my house. It's nice to meet you.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.